You've been staring at your hands for the last 10 minutes. Not because something is wrong with them. They look normal. 2 hands, 10 fingers, a few old scars you barely remember getting. But you know what they can do. You've always known. And right now, sitting in this gray waiting room, under flickering fluorescent lights, surrounded by strangers who are also trying very hard to look normal, you know that every single person in this room is doing the exact same thing you are.
Hiding.
In this world, the ability didn't come from a lab accident. It wasn't a government program. It wasn't radiation from a comet or a bite from something strange in the woods. It was always there, buried deep in human DNA, like a second heartbeat that never quite starts until it does. Around age 7, every person on Earth develops what scientists call a latent function, a hidden ability. Small, strange, deeply personal. Some people can feel the emotional residue left on objects. They touch a stranger's coat and know immediately whether the person who wore it was afraid. Some people can hold their breath for 40 minutes without trying. Some people always know when someone nearby is lying, not as a feeling, but as a certainty, like reading the temperature on a thermometer. Some people can grow any plant from a seed in under an hour. Some people have a perfect internal compass. Some people heal from bruises in minutes rather than days. None of it is dramatic. None of it is the kind of thing you see in the movies. There are no people flying over cities. There are no laser beams or teleportation. The abilities are quiet and human and strange, and almost all of them are completely invisible to anyone who isn't watching carefully. Yours is this. You can make yourself forgettable. Not invisible, not gone, just and easy to overlook. When you activate it, people's eyes slide past you without catching. You've been doing it since you were 9 years old and knocked over a display in a grocery store and just quietly let the whole thing blur away before anyone connected you to the mess. You've been doing it your whole life, and you're very good at it. Too good, maybe. You got so practiced at slipping out of moments that you started doing it even when you didn't need to. A first date looks at you with something warm and curious, and then the look fades, and the conversation moves somewhere else. And 3 weeks later, she doesn't quite remember your name. You've been the person at the center of your own life who other people consistently cannot find. You told yourself it was protection. You told yourself it was survival. You are starting to suspect it has become a different problem entirely. That's the first problem. The reason you are in this waiting room is not by choice. 3 days ago, a man in a dark green coat knocked on your apartment door at 7 in the morning. He showed you a card that had no name on it, just a symbol you didn't recognize and a 4-digit number. He told you to come to this address at 9 a.m. on Thursday. He told you it was not optional. You thought about not coming. You thought about it for 2.5 days, but the man in the green coat had known your full name, your building code, and the name of your ability, not a description. The actual internal name you gave it when you were a child and had never told another person. So here you are. The other people in the waiting room are watching each other the way animals watch each other at a water source. A teenage boy near the window hasn't blinked in a while. You activate your ability without thinking, just a fraction of it, just enough to take the edge off. A door opens. A woman in a gray suit steps out and looks directly at you.
That won't work here,
she says.
We can all feel it when someone tries.
Her name is Reyes. She doesn't tell you her first name. The organization has no public name. It has existed in various forms for over 60 years. Its purpose is to find people whose abilities fall outside the standard distribution and offer them a position.
What kind of position?
You ask.
The kind that makes problems disappear,
she says. And then she pauses and looks at you sideways.
You understand, the metaphor applies specifically to you.
She takes you into a room with a long table and 3 people already seated at it. A man with a beard slides a folder across the table. Inside there are photographs, buildings, financial documents, a map of a neighborhood you recognize. It's 12 blocks from where you live. There are names, circled in red. There are dates.
We have a situation,
the bearded man says.
There is a person. He works in a building you can access. We need someone to get close enough to copy what he has and leave without him knowing it ever happened.
You want a thief? You say.
We want you.
he says.
There's a difference. What happens if I say no?
You ask. Reyes answers before the bearded man can.
You go back to the waiting room, someone drives you home, you go back to your life. But you came here, for a reason, not just because of the knock on the door.
She's right. You came because for your entire life you have used your ability to disappear from moments, from consequences, from other people's awareness. And some part of you, the part that's been quiet for a long time, wants to find out what it looks like to be seen. You take the folder. The job is supposed to take 40 minutes. You get in without any difficulty. Of course you do. The lobby guard's eyes drift past you. The elevator holds 4 people, and none of them register your presence. The office floor is open plan and bright, and you move through it like a current through water, subtle and inevitable. The man from the photographs sits at a corner desk, mid-40s, ordinary face. You get within 3 feet of his workstation. His bag is under the desk, slightly open. The drive is visible in the front pocket. You reach for it. And the man says, without looking up from his screen,
I know you're there. Your ability works on most people.
He says.
I'm not most people. Mine is different. I perceive absences, gaps in attention, rooms where people are looking away from something that should be there. I've been waiting for them to send someone.
His name is Ward. He doesn't tell you his last name either. He doesn't call security. He doesn't run. He closes his laptop and he talks to you for the next 23 minutes in a low, steady voice.
The information on the drive is not dangerous intelligence. It is documentation, records that show the organization has spent the last decade systematically identifying people with rare abilities and making them disappear. Not employing them, not recruiting them, disappearing them. And they sent you to stop me.
You think about Reyes and her gray suit and her clipped sentences. You think about the bearded man and his folder and his careful language. You think about the waiting room and the other people in it, all of them with their abilities and their careful stillness. You think about the man in the green coat who knew the private name you gave your power when you were 9 years old.
What do you want from me?
You ask.
Take it,
He says.
Take it and bring it to them. Tell them it's done, and then decide what to do next.
It is strange that you are sitting 3 feet from a person who perceived you through an ability that has never, not once in your entire life, failed to work on anyone, and that this person is not afraid of you. You take the drive. You walk back out through the lobby. The guard doesn't look at you. The street sounds come rushing in, taxis and construction, and the particular smell of a city in the afternoon. And you stand on the pavement, and you feel more visible than you have felt in your entire life. You take out your phone. You scroll to Reyes's number. You don't call it. Instead, you start walking, not toward the address she gave you for the debrief, in the opposite direction. You walk 12 blocks, and you stop outside a coffee shop with a window seat, and you sit down, and you open the folder again, and you go through every page slowly. The journalist Ward mentioned is named in a note tucked in the back of the drive sleeve, an address, a time, 3 days from now. Your ability lets you move through the world without being noticed. You have spent your life using it to avoid. But here is the thing about an ability that makes you forgettable. It only works in one direction. You can make yourself invisible to the world. But you cannot make the world invisible to you. You see everything. You always have. Every room you've passed through without leaving a trace. We're there for all of it, watching, remembering. Your phone buzzes. It's Reyes. You look at the screen for a long time. Then you put the phone face down on the table and look out the window at the street. You pick up your phone, but you don't call Reyes. I was sent to stop something, you say.
I changed my mind.
A pause. Then,
Can anyone trace this call?
you look at the empty space around you. The other customers not noticing the person by the window.
No,
You say.
I made sure of that.
The voice on the phone goes quiet for a moment. Then it says something that makes every certainty you walked in with turn to dust.
Good, because they're already outside.
You lower the phone slowly and look out the window. The street is the same. Taxis and pedestrians. Nothing unusual. Nothing that should catch your attention. But you know what to look for now. You know how to read a room where people are carefully looking away from something that should be there. There's a man by the lamppost who has been reading the same page for 11 minutes. A woman on the bench across the street who hasn't checked her phone once. 2 people in a parked car. whose windows are just slightly too dark for the afternoon light.
They found you.
Through whatever you did, through whatever trace you left,
They found you. And here is the part you did not anticipate. You are not afraid. You are, for the first time in your life, completely and deliberately visible. And you are not going anywhere.